Hey guys, in today's video, we'll be covering the latest updates with Opendoor Technologies, ticker Open. Most of you are wondering what is going on with Open right now. Is now a time to be buying, selling, or holding? I'll share with you the latest updates with what we're seeing with Opendoor. In fact, today, one of their biggest investors sold off a good chunk of Opendoor, and that's really what caused, continuous drawdown with the price. Now, one thing to look at though on the bright side is that, the stock has gone up, through the last several months, and this to me is just a normal, healthy pullback. When you look at it from a fundamental standpoint, this company is going to grow to become an $82 stock. In fact, it's going to be the next Carvana stock. I anticipate it will become triple digit stock, as we look at it from a long-term horizon. Now, if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys.
Yeah, Opendoor has definitely been something we've seen traded pretty actively, more on the buy side, especially over the last week than on the sell side. We had our client conference a little over a week ago in Vegas at the Robinhood Hood Summit, and even there, like a lot of the chatter was talking about Opendoor and how a lot of our customers felt like it was a really great long-term opportunity, not just near-term, short-term trade.
Bad Boy Investor posts it was Eric Jackson who revived Opendoor, dead stock from 50 cents to over $10, rallied the retail open army, ousted former CEO Kerry Wheeler, and paved the way for co-founders Keith and Eric to return to the board. Now we've got a top-tier CEO Kaz, a Shopify vet known for his relentless grind, who's sleeping beside his desk to turn this ship around. No idea what the crybabies are whining about. Hold tight if you can and let the business fundamentals drive the stock even higher. So definitely, we got to look at it through the lens of just bullish market sentiment, even though we're seeing a pullback just with the recent days. Vulture Trade posts Open is entering its moment of truth. The base is rock solid. Sharks are circling and bears are done. The real bull run begins now. Loaded my long port heavy. We continue to see higher lows, higher highs. This is just normal retracement. Things can't go up in one linear fashion. In fact, today I also loaded more. I believe in the use case. Dollar cost average is the way to go. Opendoor posted yesterday that now, the company can help sellers sell in all 50 states. That just shows the strength in this company, tapping into all of the different states. The fact that Open Army is getting bigger, louder, and stronger globally. At one point, they will, try to expand globally, just setting up shops, all around the country right now. That's the beginning, with Kaz working at Shopify. There's just initiatives to go global, and at one point we will see the same thing with Opendoor Technologies. Chris Millis posts, well, the good news is that the bottom is near for Open since there aren't too many shares left to short. So let's just take a look at the reduction in the amount of shares available. I mean, 5 hours you had 1 million, and then 7 minutes after, 50,000, shares available to short. Kaz posted yesterday, just reviewed a product we will launch in the next week or so. Super excited. So that just tells you there's innovation coming, deep collaboration, the culture of just, really implementing solutions. And I think that Opendoor is really going to have something special that's going to be coming. Freedom by 40 posted some technicals. Let's go through this. So far, my first fib has been hit, and I think we have a little further to go. As you get closer to a gap, it becomes a stronger magnet. So the probabilities of filling it are higher now than they were before. Good news is either way, I think 17 to $30 is still coming. So he has it drawn out, sometime around the month of October, through November, early November, we're going to see the price continue to go up. So it did, reach the fib level at around 0.23, 0.38 fib level, currently sub 760. So where we are right now, I do think that, even though we can't predict where the bottom is, if we can hold support at this level, it's going to be up from here on out. PO posts, traders are complaining about a pullback in open when the 3-month chart looks like this. Nothing is up only, and you need some healthy pullbacks and consolidation on the road to something bigger. We have a stud CEO and a stud chairman. We're in great shape. Be patient. So definitely that's just the way that things go. You go up, then you consolidate. You go up, you consolidate, you go up, you consolidate, and you take the next stair step up. Let's go through my technical analysis assessment. So we're looking at the hourly, candle just with Opendoor right now. And, just to zoom in closely with what we're seeing, just to give you some news. So Axis Industries, they sold about 31 million shares of Opendoor yesterday, and they lowered their stake, and that's what really drove the markets to sell off on Opendoor stock. But you know what? There's a lot of buyers, buying the dip. I bought the dip. I think there's a number of other people that are, catching on this dip as well. As we look at the fib levels, it got below the golden ratio 0.618 at 746. So it'll be interesting to see how things, play out tomorrow. Yes, there could be more of a pullback, getting below $7, but I do think that, we're going to hold strong, with open army. And I think that we're going to just have, a reversal to the upside as we head into October timeframe, starting with Q4. I really do anticipate that we're going to climb to the, 1.618 pocket where we're going to start climbing up. I think road to 82 is going to be there. We just got to remain patient. We're going to be, headed towards, something very great here just with this company. So definitely healthy pullback, not to worry. Take advantage of the dips dollar cost average because this puppy is going to send it when we least expect it to. You look at, the amount of shares traded, one of the top stocks, traded on the daily right now. So definitely there's going to be a lot of people who are going to continue to dollar cost average in with current prices. And eventually we're just going to get back into double digit range.
All right, it's day 35 at Drake's. I don't have my whiteboard today because I dropped off my 16-year-old marketing manager at school early this morning for a test. It's around the corner. And I just had to come here, bags under the eyes and everything, because I have to get something off my chest from yesterday. I don't know, Drake, if you watch CNBC all day. You probably don't because you're too busy going to Oktoberfest in Germany and having fun and making your 90th top 10 hit on the Billboard charts. But if you watch CNBC or Bloomberg or Fox Business all day, you will see a lot of what is called proximate cause. And that's people that come on and have to explain the movements of the stock market every minute of every day. There has to be an explanation for why the stocks are going up or the stocks are going down. It cannot be for some unexplained reason. And that's part of their job, is to explain it. So they'll often come up with bogus answers about why stocks are going down, which just, they pull out of thin air. They pull out of, it's the equivalent of blaming the weather for causing whatever happened to you at work, or whether you wrote a good diss track or not, okay? And so yesterday I was the proximate cause for the sell-off in Opendoor because of the fact that Opendoor, which hung in there most of the day, it's like over $9 at the very end of the day, petered off and ended up something like $8 after hours. And that's where it is pre-market this morning. So Eric Jackson must be the proximate cause for that, because Eric Jackson announced yesterday that he had another 100-bag idea, another idea. By the way, a stock that could increase a lot of value for itself and for Opendoor if it partnered with Opendoor, called Better Home Finance. And the crybabies were out. The Opendoor millennials or Gen Zs didn't stop. They wouldn't shut up all day complaining that Eric Jackson was diluted with his attention. Instead of being on Opendoor, it was on Better Holdings. Well, I have a question for the crybabies. What, if that's the case, why did my obsession and my focus on Opendoor for the past, 10 and a half weeks? Why hasn't it diluted the impact of the 100-bag idea for Cypher and Iron. Okay. What happened there? Did those companies go up mistakenly? Should everyone have rotated out of Iron and Cypher? Because Eric Jackson, all-seeing and all-knowing guy, apparently, caused everybody to liquidate their Iron and Cypher and move into Opendoor. Oh, it didn't happen, did it, guys? No. And for the hedge fund bros, the cowards, the idiots that complain, you were wrong before. The Bucko Capital guy laughed at me, first of all, when I announced that under $1, I thought Opendoor was going to $82. He just laughed at me. Then a couple of weeks after that, I remember sending a tweet saying, oh, every 6 months, I hope to come up with a 100-bagger idea for my clients at EMJ Capital. Oh, he laughed. He wrote the snarkiest tweet you can ever imagine, saying, what does this guy think he is doing? 100-bag idea every 6 months. You're lucky if you come up with that in your career. Well, maybe if your name's Bucko Capital and you're a coward and you won't put your name to any of your tweets because you worry your bosses will see you. And despite the fact that you've got 150,000 followers, why, I have no idea, you get fired for some of the things you say in your tweet. That's why you're such a coward that you won't put your name to your tweets. Well, guess what? We've had Iron, Cypher, Better, Open, all this year. How am I doing on my 1 for 6 months target? BTQ, December of last year. Carvana, 2 years ago. So listen, guys, this is me. If you don't like me talking about God and God's plan, you don't like me talking about 100-bag ideas, if you don't think Opendoor can swim on its own under the stewardship of Kaz and Keith, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I really don't. Sell your shares if you think I'm an idiot, if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, if you think I'm obsessed. I don't care. Okay? Better is going to do just fine. Opendoor is going to do just fine. I never sold a single share of Opendoor yesterday or the day before to buy Better. Okay? So don't say I'm not all in. It is still my largest single holding and will continue to be because it's been a massive winner for me. And we are just at $8 on the road to 82 and then 500 in the years to come. So anyway, all the crybabies, all the coward hedge fund add-on bros, all the people who think they know best and they can teach me how to live my life and do, how I should behave. Screw you. Screw you. You weren't here in week 1. You weren't here in week 5, or you were giving me bad advice all along the way. And it's worked out just fine. And it's going to continue to work out just fine.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive analysis. If you did, I would really appreciate you smashing the like, subscribing. Thanks, Opendoor family.